So I'm here with Coach Chadwell from Liberty University, the head football coach there. Coach, it's an honor to have you here with us for Fire Pit Ranch for our banquet tonight. And one of the things I want to ask you, your journey, you've been to several schools, and that pathway, you've learned a lot about coaching and maybe even reached a point where you wondered, do I need to still be doing this stuff? Tell us a little bit about that journey and maybe a moment where you can remember going, should I be coaching?
Well, there's a lot of those every day. This still happens every day. When I first started coaching, it was at my alma mater, and I was there 4 years, and they dropped the program. 2003, they dropped it. And you're trying to find your way as a young coach. I was 20, maybe 25, 26, and the program's gone, and you're trying to figure out what happens. And Lord opened the door at Charleston Southern, and little did I know from that point on where I would be today. But I took the North Greenville job in February of 2009. In March of 2009, I was trying to get my old job back because I was like, what have I got myself into? Sitting in that chair for the first time, when you're on it, as an assistant coach, why's the head coach doing this? Well, he don't know what he's doing.
Right.
When you sit in that chair. But I remember vividly, I was sitting there, and it was March, and I was like, what am I doing? I don't know if I can do this. I mean, I after spending 10 years coaching, 8, 10, whatever it was at that time frame, I was literally like, did I just make the biggest mistake of my life? Mm-hmm. And the thing about being at North Greenville, made a lot of mistakes, and most people didn't care, except the players on the team. And what I do to this day is the same I did back then. And that group of men, young men at that time frame, I made so many mistakes, but they really helped me get to this point where I'm at today because they allowed me to make those mistakes. But I remember vividly, did I make a mistake coming here? I don't know if I'm cut out for this. And, look where we are today.
One of the things you were just saying, it sounds like making mistakes is part of the journey of becoming who you are. A lot of people, when they make mistakes, they're fearful of like, well, maybe this isn't for me. What made you keep going forward?
You know what? I think you realize and you learn that's what God's called you to do. That's your ministry. And if it's easy, it's not worthwhile. And you're going to get challenged, you're going to get questioned, things are going to be very, very tough. But when you get through it, when you overcome it, man, the feeling you have, and not necessarily the winning, yeah, that's great, but like the feeling you have of doing something that maybe nobody believed you could except yourself and him, And so I think mistakes, you need to make them because that's how you learn, that's how you grow. And I've made plenty of them, but every time I have, I've learned something and grew from it and said, you know what, and it's never happened again. I might make more, but not the same one.
Right,
not the same
right.
one.
You alluded to something. A lot of people, when they see sports, I think many times they may assume that coaches, and there are some coaches out there, it's all about the W's and L's. They're going for that win, and that's why you train. You want to win, okay? But talk about those wins that maybe nobody else really talks about or they write about, but you see it in your players that kind of feeds or fuels that fire in you to keep doing what you're doing.
Well, we're judged by wins, obviously, right? You're paid to win. If you get beat, you're out. We all understand that. But the thing that brings me back every day is not the winning, because the winning can't replace how you feel about losing. But what brings me back every day is you get a group of men. We have 117 on our team right now. We've got a kid from Germany. We've had a kid from Canada. We've got a kid from Sweden. We've got kids from all over the country, one parent, two parents. And you get them to come together, united for a common purpose. Nothing better than that. Like, I keep coming back, not because the wins are great. They are. The losses are the bottoms, and they are. But knowing you got a group of men that have the opportunity through the sport of football, and you can change the trajectory of their lives through the sport of football. Nothing better than that. And to me, that's where your wins come.
Right.
That a group of people can come together. And hopefully you win on the field, but knowing that you've changed their life and you've given them values that can consistently impact people the rest of their lives, because they're always going to be part of something. I tell our team all the time, you're part of a family. Your own family, the family we currently have, and then whether it's going to be a work family, whether it's going to be your own family, you're always going to be part of somebody's family. And you have a choice whether it be a positive impact or a negative. And if we as coaches can give them values that will allow them to positively impact and have a significant impact on people, then that's a win every day.
That's good. That's good. I think back to when I hear my son Jacob, who played for you back at North Greenville, and Jake Marsh, Jake. listening to them talk about your mat drills and some of the things, the winter workouts, just, I mean, grueling workouts.
If they knew what I was doing back then, I'd probably been fired. I look back on some of those things and go, how crazy was that?
But, you know, carrying your guys through, trying to get them to a threshold of going beyond what they think they could do. Why is that so important when you're working with young men to see that they can do more than what they think? Why is that? Because you find that balance, and I know there's a balance.
There is a balance. Well, and I think that's the call of a leader. I think if you're a leader, if you've been placed as a leader, you're going to get young people that you're part of, that are part of your organization program, and they're going to get to a point where their body tells them they can't go anymore. And it's your job to get into their mind and their heart and say, yes, you can. And I think that's the challenge of a coach or a leader is when they feel like they can't go that extra step or that extra inch or that extra foot. As a leader, you gotta capture their mind, you capture their heart and say, yes, you can. And when you do, you're gonna open so many more doors that you're gonna be able to overcome anything the rest of your life, and your relationships, your job, whatever it may be. You're gonna get told no a bunch, or you might feel like you've reached the end of your rope and you haven't. And that's where that bonding, even though it's through challenging physical exertion, that's where that bonding comes. And I can guarantee you, Jacob and both Jacobs and anybody that went through those things, I guarantee they're tight today, even if they might not have seen anybody for 10 years. They can you remember when Coach made us do this, but it bonded them. And I guarantee they all believe they can overcome. They can start a fire pit ranch when nobody thought they could do it.
That's right.
And look what it's becoming.
Adversity is just an opportunity.
It's just another opportunity, and that's how we view it.
Well, Coach, anybody who knows you knows that Jesus Christ is the centerpiece of your life, and that's been a joy for me watching that in you. But as you've carried that from school to school, how has that kept you grounded? Your faith. Talk about how that kept you grounded, because you've won some pretty significant awards.
Yeah, I mean, I tell everybody, blind squirrel gets an acorn, right? And what's been amazing with it is when I chose to not only believe but follow. I think that's the key. A lot of people believe, but they don't follow, right?
That's good.
You got to be a follower. And when I choose to finally follow, not just be a believer, hey, I'll give you this, but I'm not going to give you this. When I chose to say I am going to follow, or I'm going to join, I look back on the things that I wish I wanted to have and he didn't allow me to have, and I look back and go, I see why. I see why. And to see the challenges that I went through, but the blessings that have followed from being faithful through it. Maybe I complain, maybe I ask why. It's okay, I did. But to see that, I have to make sure that everybody knows, hey, I'm here because of him and only him. And that's the truth. I told the team the other day, we were talking about going through devotion. And it was on purpose. It was purpose over pleasure. And it was talking about what are we created for? And your purpose is created to glorify God. He created, Genesis, he created humans to glorify him. And I said, if y'all know who I was back when I was your age and back when I was your age, I wouldn't be up here talking at a Christian university, but only because of him and his grace I am. And I don't take that for granted.
Wow. A lot of our mentoring, Coach, we start with boys in the 5th grade, and in those middle school years, it can be pretty tough because some of the guys they're beginning to see some opportunities that may get them off track. And most of them talk about wanting to be an athlete in college. They all talk about, going pro. If you were to say something to them today, if I had a group of 10 or 12 boys, what would you want to say to a group of middle school boys who have all these different aspirations, but honestly trying to figure out what they're supposed to do in life?
Yeah. I think I'd mention a couple of things. One, I would tell them that, your talent might get you there, but your character is going to make you stay. And who you are, who you represent will get you way farther more than that talent ever will. And I see that all the time. Mm-hmm. Most talented people don't play on the teams I've been a part of. It's the ones that have most character. And the ones that combine the character and the talent, they're the special ones. And then secondly, I would tell them, please don't identify your self-worth in what you do on a field. I've seen so much through the time coaching that the identity is so much in what they do on that field, and when it don't match up, man, they lose who they are, and they start going through depression and different things because that talent is not good enough. And then know that they're created for something unique, and God's given them a special ability, and if they'll harness that, it can change their life. Might not be in the NFL, might not even be college, But if they can learn, understand the character that it takes and what football, what sports were built for you, and as far as character-wise, they can go do anything.
Last question, Coach. So if I have a group of men, and you're fully aware of the challenges that we're having in our culture today because there's so many young men that they're searching. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of men who may be talking about the issues, but they may not be engaged in being part of the difference. What would you say to men who may have great opinions, but they don't have any sweat equity in the game yet? What would you tell them?
Well, I would say if you just look statistics across this country, there's almost 18 million people that are raised by single parents. 95% of them are by mothers. There is no male figure in a home. And what I see, what I do at 18, is not having a male figure. There's a lot of things that we have to try to break in a short amount of time. And if you can get them in the 5th grade and you can start teaching them values, you can start teaching them what being respectful, what accountability is, man, you've got a chance to change their life. The hardest thing that we have to do is earn trust, because the kids we deal with, their trust has been broken by a male early in life. And if they can get a positive male figure early and earn that trust and show them what that trust looks like, man, then they have a chance. Because you know this, any relationship, if you have trust, you can overcome anything.
Absolutely.
Once that trust is broken, it's hard. And we have to spend so much time earning trust from our young people. And it's hard for them to trust because it's been broken. And if you can get it to them early at 5th grade and mentor them and be part of their lives for the next 7, 8 years of their life, man, they're going to have a lot of trust in men. And then they're going to have it to be able to share that with, hopefully, their family.
Well, we pray God's blessing over you and your family, and so thankful for the light you're shining for the Lord. Thank you for your time with us tonight.
Glad to be here, brother. I appreciate
you.
you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.